Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. I was at Hersheypark for Christmas Candy Lane last month, and I would like to give my trip report. This is my Hersheypark trip report. I didn't ride many coasters, but let's start with the coasters of this park. Let's start with Wildcat's Revenge. I won't go into much detail because I covered this coaster in length in another video, but to sum it all up, it has good airtime and laterals, and the second half is a little lame, but overall a nice coaster and probably the best coaster I rode at Hersheypark. Wild Mouse is the next coaster, and this mock mouse is okay. It is a family coaster with nice laterals, but I do think Apple's Apple is better because Apple's Apple had a better drop at King's Dominion. It's a nice family coaster, though, for the younger kids. Super Duper Looper. This family coaster was advertised with a 20-minute wait, but we waited 100 minutes for this thing. Because of all the fast track people in the one-train operations, we waited forever. It's sort of hard for a coaster to live up to that long of a wait, but I will try and see this thing for what it is, and not what it isn't. It can't be Steel Vengeance, Twisted Timbers, or Orion after all. The terrain was nice, and the vertical loop was intense. Overall, a solid family coaster, but definitely was not worth the wait. Also, Hersheypark app, you need to check yourself, because you need to get those wait times more accurate. The last coaster I rode was Candemonium, the B&M Hyper Coaster. This ride is okay, but it is lacking any bite, and I do think towards the back is better than the front. I got 2 rides on this coaster, one in the front and one towards the back, like I just said. The front has good speed, but not much airtime. It was also pretty chilly, but not unbearable or anything. The front row ride was in the day, but the ride towards the back was at night. This ride had some better airtime, but the trim right before the kissing fountain was a total ride killer for me. The ride always gets mobbed at the beginning of the day, so I would recommend doing what I did and wait for everyone to make their way to the back of the park and then ride Candemonium. One more thing. This ride is a little too short for me. If they could have added more to the second half, maybe like another lap around the kissing fountain, this ride would have been much better than it actually was. Overall, Candemonium is a nice ride and good for the general public, but it is not as good as Diamondback at Kings Island. Those are my opinions on the coasters of Hersheypark. I would have gotten to ride more coasters like Jolly Rancher Remix, but the Super Duper Looper line costed us a bunch of time. There are other rides at the park, though. The train is a nice chill ride. The lights around the train's path was also nice. Also, the lighted tunnels are added bonuses. I still think the Kings Island train is a little better, as sometimes the other trains can get close to each other, but this one is also solid and probably better than the one at Kennywood. Frontier Flyers is my first time on this type of ride, like a Flying Eagles type thing. It is a nice little attraction, and it was pretty cold on there. Surprisingly, this ride can be intense, but just if you choose to, as you can steer the ride however you want. It can either be a nice calm ride or a little bit thrilling. Mixed by Jolly Rancher was my first Zamperla Nubiles. These are nice rides, and it seemed quite long, but maybe it was just me, and the park was sort of dead in the morning. The Hershey's Kissing Tower is a great ride experience. We rode it at night. We originally couldn't find it, but once we did, it was like discovering a whole new area of the park. I just love observation rides like this. I went on the run at Carowinds years ago, and it was also fun. Lastly, the Ferris wheel. We also rode that. It has a strong light package and is a nice ride. But we went on the wrong side of the line, as there are 2 sides. We picked the long one, but oh well. Those are my thoughts on the rides I rode at Hersheypark. Now let's get into some more thoughts on Hersheypark. The Chocolatier restaurant is a great place to eat. We ate there and then we went to Hershey's Chocolate World the day before we went to the park. Also, shout out to Hershey's Chocolate World. That dark ride was amazing, and we had a Jolly Rancher slushie. It was very sweet. Not for me, but hey, if you like sweet stuff, it's good. Anyways, my food was good at the Chocolatier, and the chocolate barbecue sauce was better than I expected, even though it didn't have much flavor. Overall, a solid restaurant with a good experience, and our waitress was very nice. Now on to a bit of a negative note. The park was slammed the day I went, as it was the first Saturday for Christmas Candy Lane. The operations on Super Duper Looper and a few other rides were just awful. The fast track people definitely not helping the cause, but there's nothing the park can really do about that, as they can make money and people will buy it. But they do need to add another train on Super Duper Looper, as sometimes there would be 8 to 9 minute dispatches, which is just ridiculous. I tracked my favorite basketball team, Villanova. They played that day and played at the same time we got in line, and that game lasted almost the entire time we waited. Overall, Hersheypark is a nice park, and shout out to the employee who gave us a free souvenir cup. This is a great park, and I look forward going back to it next year. That's all for this video. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next video.